Welcome to TWC. My name is Magembe. On this channel, we share knowledge and how to create generational wealth. In today's episode, we'll be discussing classical books that you need to read if you want to become a millionaire. The first, it's a fact that if you don't read every day, let's say, whenever you got your degree, you got the certificate, you got the paper, and you stop reading, what will happen if you're not reading every day? You will die intellectually. So we urge you that it's very important that you be reading every day, you be gaining knowledge, because otherwise you forget whatever you read, and there won't be much left in your head. So we encourage you to be reading every day if you want to gain knowledge and be able to compete in this world. The first book we're going to look at is The Richest Man in Babylon. This book is done in a setting that happened 4,000 years ago. I think most of you know that 4,000 years ago, the Babylon Empire was the richest and the most powerful empire of their time. So this book is written based on that setting, and the main character in this book is a guy called Haked. This guy called Haked, he was actually very, very poor. And then, he was poor, and he was like, okay, what do I need to do so that I can be able to have money? Then he followed some of the principles on money management, and he became the richest man in Babylon. And from him, we learned so much. And actually what happened is that, like right now, most third world countries, let's say most countries in Africa, we are very poor, most of our people are poor. So it's like so the setting of this book is like, if you ask yourself, what do we need to do so that everyone, our people, can become rich? They can have enough food, they can have enough money to do things that people need to do to live comfortably. So that then what happened is that during that time, when the king asked, like, how come our people are so poor? And then one of his advisors told him, look, there is a guy who's called Haked, who actually, he was poor, there are some principles he has followed, and he has become rich. So the king said, hey, tell the guy to come. So the king called him, and they said, okay, how did you do this? Haked explained to him what he did to become rich, and they gave him the assignment to teach the people of the kingdom of Babylon on how they can be able to attain riches. And then he was able to teach them 7 principles that they need to follow, which he called them keywords in order to become rich. And the first principle he taught was that when you work, you need to pay yourself first. Before you pay all your bills, you need to pay yourself first. And in this principle, he said that when you pay yourself first, you need to do a minimum of at least 10%. If you're making 10,000, at least you need to pay yourself 1,000. So over time, as you pay yourself first, then you'll be able to accumulate a lot of money, and from accumulating this money, you can be able to become rich. And they said, so most of you, so what we advise here is that that the minimum to save from your work, whatever you're getting paid, is at least 10%. So you can save 20%, 30%, 50%, but the more you save, the quicker you become rich. And then the second principle he taught the people of Babylon is that if you want to become rich, then you need to control your expenses. You need to live a frugal life. You can't be getting all the money and then you just want to consume. You wanna buy clothes. Just want to buy shoes. You want to buy a nice car. You want to do all these things, and you're not controlling your expenses, because we know that as humans, our desires are never met unless we control them. So then the second principle is that you need to control your expenses. That means you need to control your desires so that you can be able to have enough money to save. The third principle he taught the people of Babylon is that you need to invest. So once you have saved the 10% or more than 10%, you have controlled your expenses, then the money that you have saved, you need to invest. So we tell people, don't save money in a bank account, invest money. So from investing the money will be able to make more money for you. So the way he described this is that this money will be able to give birth to children, and don't eat the children. Let the children produce more children. So if you invest, you continue investing, you get the money, you invest, the money will produce more money. So you need to learn the principles of investing. And the fourth principle that he taught the citizens of Babylon is that you need to protect your wealth. So once you have invested, it's like once you're doing these investments, make sure that you know where you're doing these investments. Just don't throw your money on investments that you don't understand. Invest on the things that you don't understand. For example, if you don't understand cryptocurrency, please don't invest in that. If you understand farming, invest in farming. Otherwise, you will lose your money. So he said the fourth principle is that you need to protect your investments. The fifth principle is about you need to build a home for your family. Yes, you can be making all this money, but you need to make sure that the people you care for, your family, that you build a very nice home for them where they can be able to stay, where your kids can be able to play in a clean earth. Actually, that's how it says in the book, that you need to have a compound, whereby you have a garden, where you have a nice place where your kids can be able to play and do all these things. So you need to build a home for yourself. The sixth principle he talked about is that you need to be able to invest in yourself. Investing in yourself, what it means is that, like right now, when you're reading these books, you're investing in yourself. You're investing yourself intellectually, because we said if you don't invest yourself intellectually, you will die intellectually. So invest in yourself. Keep on training. Keep on gaining new skills. And with time, you find that you know all this information and you know how to manage money. The seventh principle he talked about, it's about invest for future generations. That keep on investing. Don't consume everything. Remember that you have kids, if you have kids, that you need to put something aside for them so that they don't start the same place where you started. So you need to be able to formulate something so that your wealth does not come to an end when you yourself you come to an end. For example, maybe you might even need to form a company so that your kids, when they grow, they can be able to work on this company and they can be able to continue with your investment empire. So these are the 7 principles that Akkad taught the people of Babylon. And even if this happened 4,000 years ago, we know that these principles are still relevant to this day, because we know that fundamentals don't change. Times change, but the best principles still all up to today. So we urge you, you have some time, go get this book, read it, and you will thank us later. It's a very good book if you want to be able to become a millionaire. The second book that we will discuss today, it's the book written by Napoleon Hill. It's Think and Grow Rich. In this book, Napoleon Hill talks about, if I can give you a bit of a background, what happened during the time of Napoleon Hill. The setting is in the United States, and we know that the United States was coming up militarily, financially, and there was a lot of successful people. Of course, people had moved from Europe. They had set up government in the United States, and there was a lot of success and progress. So in the 1920s and the 30s, Napoleon Hill started tracking and following these successful people. He followed about 500 successful people, and he was studying them, doing research on them, and seeing, how come these guys are this successful? Let's see which kind of habits that they are actually following that has made them successful this way. So Think and Grow Rich was written based on the research that Napoleon Hill did on these 500 successful Americans in the period of 20 years. And then, what we learn from this book is that our mind, is a very powerful asset that we have. That humans, we are made to have desires. These desires can be good or bad, but it depends on how we use the desires. So Napoleon says that you have to desire. If you want to become rich, you have to desire to become rich. There is a few people I see sometimes say, rich people are evil. If you think that rich people are evil, you are not going to become rich. You have to desire to become rich. So, when you start desiring from your mind, then you start having what is called creative imagination. You start having ideas. What can I do that can make me money? You have all these ideas. You sit in a quiet place and you look at the different ideas, what you can do to start making money, what kind of business you can start, all of these things. So imaginative creativity plus the ideas that come from the mind, then you can be able to come with ideas. And then what Napoleon says is that once you come with these ideas, write them down. Write these ideas down, and then work on a plan to succeed. Have the goals and say, this is the plan that I'm gonna follow, to actually attain the goals that I want to attain. I want to become a millionaire. I want to have 5 million. I want to have 10 million. So you gotta sit down and write a path to getting your 10 million. And then he says that once you have written this down, be checking it out every day. Don't forget. Stick to the goal. Look at this every day and keep on saying to yourself, I'll be able to attain this goal. And he says that you need to be able to simulate or visualize the future, how you will look like when you become rich. And then with the time, once you're imagining this, and then you start actually implementing what you're imagining, these goals, you'll be able to attain riches. And then Napoleon also, another thing he says, he discourages us from using immoral ways to actually attain wealth. He doesn't like corruption. The same way at the GWC, we don't like corrupted people, because we believe that if you follow the right way, you work hard, you work smart, you have all these ideas, over time, you can be able to attain riches. So this is another book that I think you can really read. It's actually really good. It's like spiritual, takes you through all this, that, positive thinking, can be able to give you positive actions, and, you need to implement all these things. So it's a very good book that I think if you really want to understand money management and attain riches, this is one of the books that you can read. Another book that we discussed today, it's a book written by Benjamin Graham. The title of the book is The Intelligent Investor. Graham wrote this book in 1949. This is after the Second World War. And then, Graham basically talks about how to invest in stocks. So what the principles Graham actually tells us in this book is that when you're investing, the first thing you need to do long-term investment. It's not about becoming rich overnight. You need to look at long-term, 5, 10, 15, 20 years plan when you're investing. So he says that you need to, when you're investing in stocks, the first thing you need to do, you need to narrow down on the companies that you want to invest in. And the way you do this is that you need to study these companies. You need to look at their books. You need to look at their historical performance. You need to analyze the graphs and see how these companies have been performing. And he talks about you need to select the companies that have high intrinsic value, the companies that are actually providing value to the world. These are the companies that you want to invest in. And another thing that Graham talks about in this book is that, the market, the stock market goes high, goes down, It says that actually it has very severe mood swings. So don't pay too much attention to the stock market. So, you stick to the plan. You have analyzed these companies. You know these are the companies you're going to invest in based on their historical performance. You look at the values of the management. You need to know that the management are good people. They are managing the company well. And then you start buying the stocks. You start investing a certain amount each time. Let's say every month. This is what we call again DCA. That is dollar cost averaging. So for example, if you say, hey, I'm going to be investing $1,000 every month, you keep, whether the market is higher, whether the market is down, you just keep on putting the $1,000 every month. And then over time, 5-10 years, you could have made so much money, because we know that historically the stock market, the return has been about 10 to 15%. So you see, with time and knowing that the compounding effect, you'll be able to make money. So in the intelligent investor, what you need to remember here is that this is about stock investing. You need to take time, select good companies, and then once you select these companies, have what is called formula investing. You have a formula. Now you're going to invest like that every time. Don't worry about the mood swings of the market, and you do fine. So this is one of the books that we encourage you to read. You read this book, you thank us later. There is actually a lot of benefit that you can get there, because I know, of course, we said that if you want to become a millionaire, you're going to need to invest in stocks. You're going to need to invest in these companies that are out there that are doing a good job. So if, of course, you're going to invest in stocks, you're going to need to understand how stock investing is done. So these are the books that we encourage you to read. Then, of course, you read these books, and there are more other books that you need to read. You'll be able to attain good financial knowledge, and you'll be able to do well. Thank you again for taking time to listen to this kind of knowledge. We encourage you, go ahead, read these books, and we'll see you in our next video. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like this content, hit the like button. Thank you. Have a good day.